Hi there. Happy Tuesday. Welcome to Sunnyside Journals. Welcome to 30 minutes of my day. It's it's no longer the magazine challenge. I guess I should take that out of there and put 30 minutes back in there. Gosh, the magazine challenge was a lot of fun. And thank you to everyone for all of your enthusiastic, lovely compliments and comments. It was really, really enjoyable. And I had a lot of fun watching what Nancy did with her magazine and book. I will I'm definitely interested in doing another challenge. It's a similar kind of challenge where it's personal, but you're doing it alongside with someone else so you can watch what they're doing, get ideas from them. Um, I found that using one magazine really forced me to stretch my imagination to try and figure out what could possibly be what I could make from only one resource. And I loved it. It was a lot of fun. If you can think of any kind of challenge similar along that line, knowing my style and Nancy's style over at Wishes and Weeds, actually, I'll put a link down below. Comment down below and let me know what you think might be a fun challenge in the future. And Nancy and I, you know what? Maybe that'll be the one and we'll do it. That would be great. So I am getting started on just a little project before I get back to work on, I'm pointing over there because it's over there in a bin, Journeys Through Bookland. I will be finishing it. I felt like doing something. And you know what I always say, the heart wants what it wants. And right now my heart wants to work on just a little project, but I think it's going to be fun. So if any of you have been following along with me for a while, you know that this is my desk journal that I made for myself out of an old, not so old, Better Homes and Gardens binder cookbook. They're so much fun. They're so pretty. And they're just the right kind of binder for a person who loves junk journals. Mine is, I forget what year mine is. It's not, it wasn't that old. And I knew it wasn't that old because it had a lot of plastic on it. I think this was like 70s, possibly even 80s. I made it look old. I scuffed it up and used some of my distress ink, and I made it look old. But anyhow, I love this book. If you haven't been following along that long, and I do have a lot of new subscribers, thank you. I'll tell you what it is. I call this my desk book because I feel like it's sort of my desk in a book. I have things handy in it. It's not at all a cookbook, and it's actually not even a junk journal. It's a functioning book that I use to keep information in it that I need to be able to access. And I love it. I love this book. If my phone rings, I may pause you because I'm waiting for my husband to call me back. He's on his way home and he had to take another call. So anyhow, so inside the book, you're going to see sometimes I've covered things up if there's private things underneath. What I did was I removed all the pages out of it. Oh, here he is. Hold on. Sorry about that. That was the sweetie. And now I forget where I was. Anyhow, what I did was, I'll start again where I think I was. I removed the pages. I kept the dividers. I love the dividers. I pulled out the end papers because they were plastic. You can still see a little bit of it here. And they were measurements. They were cooking kind of things. And I wanted actually a functioning end paper that I could write in and keep information that I always use on that page. So I didn't even necessarily want pretty end papers. I wanted functional end papers. But in the end, of course, I still want it pretty. So you know me and robins. I love robins and I love word snippets. So, like even everyone looked very happy, and they do. There's another little fella there. Nancy sent him to me. Um, And there's a quote I just like. I always love this little mom, Beatrix Potter mouse, because she's got 5 babies, and I had 5 babies. So I feel like that could be a self-portrait of how homey I looked when I had all my 5 babies. And I love where it says heart's content, because that's what made my heart content. So again, ledger paper over top of what was underneath there so that this would be functioning to write on. Bulldog clips to hold things in. This is just a flip out. I didn't know whether I would use it or not. I haven't used it yet. I've really only been using this binder, I think, a year and a half. And I use it for 1 year at a time, empty it out, and start again in January. So that's why it's not really full right now, because it got emptied last December 31st. That's my favorite little fabric store. And right now you're allowed to book a 15-minute time slot in there because of how things are working for our coming out of lockdown. A little tuck spot here with I keep return address labels. I keep if I need a label to put into a book plate on the front of a journal, I just keep some extras in there. And you know me and outhouses, it's right up there with laxative ads and that potty humor. What can I say? Little girl up there, I think she's an Eloise Wilkin. More tea-dyed paper. This is one of my first attempts at trying to make the cover for a traveler's notebook, and I didn't like how it was going, so I turned it into a tuck spot and I put it into this journal, and I love it. And it's just got a map of Ireland on it because I love Ireland. I made pockets that are see-through so that I can access. I kept that was off of some Happy Mail from a crush. I really like the clear pockets so I can see what's in the pocket. And I just for some fun, I covered up the tab that was on here with some red polka dots because I love red polka dots. I like to keep track of Happy Mail so that whenever possible, I can acknowledge who gave me what if I'm using it actually in a journal. So I try my best. I'm not always perfect at it, but I really do try to acknowledge if someone has given me something, out of the goodness and generosity of their heart. I really try. So I keep a list there and handy. This envelope seems to have started holding stamps and postage things in there. I haven't glued him in anywhere yet. Isn't he lovely? So he goes behind a Rolodex recipe, a Rolodex card that has a recipe for martinis on it that Nancy gave to me. Golly, that was, I think, in your very first Happy Mail you ever sent me, Nancy. And same with the cigar bands. That's not my ring, though. I have my ring over there on the window. So anyhow, stamps, things I like. I love this little snail. So it also, in a way, is an all sorts book because I use it as a place to just glue in things that I love. Again, I've just covered up these dividers with functional writing on paper. This is where I've just been keeping all of the other sides of my postage label receipts. When I create my own shipping labels when I ship off journals. And when it comes out of the printer, one side of it is the shipping label, and you cut it in half, and the other side is your receipt with the information you needed for that package. And I keep them for, of course, 1 year, and then they go off to do tax things. So for now, they've been just clipped there, and that's what I've been doing for the past little while since I've been using this. Another little robin there, and I used a guest book here to cover this page, and I felt like just using a word snippet there, so it says secrets, which I like. More ledger paper and tea dyed and mucked up and pieces here and there. Frankensteined those together to make use of them. I've always loved this bulrush, and I just wasn't sure whose journal I would use that in. It's sort of an unlikely fussy cut, and I liked it, so I thought, you know what, I'm using that. That's out of my Victorian Cakes book, and I loved it. Bullet journal paper, tea-dyed envelope. I keep all my receipts in here when I buy supplies so that when I can claim them on my taxes. And I love this little bear because he's in overalls, and usually so am I too. Here, look, I got my overalls on today. So little bear in overalls. I think he was from Nancy too. Nancy, you're all over this place. And a fortune out of a fortune cookie, and another tuck spot. That I found that in a book that I used once for in a journal. That was the dedication inside this children's book, and I thought, well, that was meant for me, so I fussy cut it out and glued it in here. And actually, oh boy, this is from Nancy too. They're really gonna believe you're my crush, you know. I just loved this card. Look at this card. I think this is the prettiest card I've ever seen in my life. First of all, it's just beautiful. The artwork is just beautiful. Look how pretty that is. Rachel King sent it to somebody. It's just lovely. But you can stand it up and it becomes an art easel. How cute is that? Why don't they make greeting cards like that anymore? That's just the prettiest little greeting card I've ever seen in my life, and I love it, and I kept it. So that's mine. I still have some more left in case I needed to make more divider areas. This is what these, no, these are actually from other ones. That's right, and I saved them in case I want to cover them up and use them. Because these ones, see how they're clear, or not clear, they actually say the words, you know, soups and stews and that, but these are different. Anyhow, I thought, since I love my my desk binder so much, I thought someone else out there might like a desk binder too. So hold on, let's get this out of the way. I thought this beauty that I'm going to turn into a desk binder. Isn't that pretty? I actually had this one at the same time that I had that other Better Homes and Gardens, but I used the one that's not vintage just for my own sake, because I thought this beauty has to go out there into the world somewhere. This is 1951. 1951 must be haunting me because that's actually the year of Nicolette as well. She was published in 51. So I've already taken the pages out. They're all here. There's some really beautiful photos in there. Lots of nice color photos and stuff. And even a few little illustrations. So I've already taken them out, but I'm saving them for now in case I want to reuse any. They've got awesomely aged dividers. Look at that. Look at the yellowing on those dividers. I just love it. And that's not even, I can feel it. That's not grimy. That's actually yellowing. So I just love it. So pretty. And then just some little end pieces to protect. This binder has something that I wish mine had. And it's the strangest thing. It's like a plastic arch support, and it actually makes the pages easier to turn. And I wish mine had this, because when I put these back in, you'll see the pages just flip so freely and so nicely. And that's something I wish mine had. But I'm glad that it's in a binder that's going to someone else and they can enjoy it. Now, I realized I was going to really get a good start on this binder before I recorded a video, but I realized I should show you what I'm doing and why, because I've already added this lace to it, and I'll show you why. I mean, it is 1951, and there are a couple of little splits starting here and here. Now, they're just on the outside. The inside appears to be very strong, no splits whatsoever. but I still didn't like the appearance of the little splits. Pardon me. I didn't like the appearance of the little splits. But I also didn't want to take away from how beautiful, look at that, how beautiful is that cover. So I wanted to find something that would look at home on these seams, but not distract from how beautiful this artwork is. And I didn't want to have to cover up this spine. I have a few other of these binders, and sometimes if they've been on a shelf for a long time, especially if there's a window nearby, the spine will be horribly faded while the cover is still pretty. And if that was the case, I wouldn't mind covering it up with some fabric, and then that would fortify those folds, the hinges. But this spine is so lovely and so spectacular. And so fortunately, I found some ivory colored lace. And so I'm going to use the lace on the outside. And I figured the lace would serve a couple of purposes. First of all, it's pretty, but it doesn't distract from how beautiful this is. It's the right color for this ivory background color. And lace is usually a little bit stretchier than fabric. So it will camouflage the little splits that I don't like the look of, but don't seem to be affecting it structurally. And then what I'm going to do inside is I do have some tea-dyed bias tape, and I'm going to just reinforce it from the inside out, and that will be good for it, and keep it going for a good many years, and not interfere with how with the appeal of how pretty it looks. So I thought I would do the other side of the lace while we're here today, so you could watch how I'm doing it. Let's flip this over here. I'm just putting the brick inside there so that it can rest on something. I want it bent at the correct angle so that when I glue it down, I can sort of move it a bit and make sure I've got lots of ease and give before it fully dries. Let me make sure I'm in. I'm going to come back a bit. And I might come down a bit. Let's see how this looks. Yeah, that works. All right. So what I did was I used painter's tape. And hold on. I used painter's tape, and I taped off a section, and I'll tell you why in a second. I just want to give myself a little tiny pencil mark that I will erase later. There we go. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put down my painter's tape there to there. Let me stand up and make sure it's even anyways, because I am just eyeballing this. That looks pretty good. Gonna give it a good press down on this side. And even around. I'm going to do the same thing here. I just want to measure and see where that would come to. Hold on. I'm concentrating, and then I'll tell you why I'm doing what I'm doing, because you might think, so what, Catherine? Just glue it down. All right, so why I'm doing it this way is, hold on, I just want to see if that would, yes. I want them to also be as even as possible. This cover is matte, and it's a lovely matte finish. Well, I'm using 3-in-1 today, and 3-in-1 and Fabri-Tac both dry shiny, and I don't want it to show. So what I'm going to do is I'm taping off so it's the exact width of what this lace is going to be, and that way the shiny 3-in-1 will be underneath. Hold on, I'm just checking. Yep, that's pretty good. The shiny 3-in-1 will be underneath the lace, not so noticeable, and it won't gloop out. If it's going to gloop out, if I push down and it's going to gloop out, it will gloop out onto the tape and then I'll be able to peel it off. It's just like when you're, taping around when you're painting a room and you cut in and you don't make a mess of things. So a little pre-work goes a long way. So what I'm doing is I'm just using 3-in-1 and I am going to spread it out. So, and I'm going to move quickly. When you spread out 3-in-1, it tends to want to dry quickly. If you leave it thick, you've got a little more time to play with things, but once you spread it out, it wants to, I'm going to make sure there's a generous amount where it's wanting to split. Okay, now we're going to move quickly and just spread it out right out to those edges and along there. I want a bit more along that edge. Come on. I don't have a lot of time for you to take your time getting down. There, thank you. There we go. There. And now I make sure I've got the correct side facing out. And I want this part of the spine is more important to me than the back part. So I'm just going to make sure this spine, and I don't want it stretched too much. We can be too enthusiastic to stretch things, and that can interfere with how it dries. All right. And really apply it well. That seems to be a little bit crooked. I'm going to see if I can encourage it to do what I want it to do without getting too much shiny anywhere. Alrighty. Now I'm going to peel this off while it's still quite wet. Slowly. And just let it finish drying. There we go. And I'm peeling up 3-in-1. Now I see some there that I want rid of, so I'm going to take my these. It'll come up, especially if I'm patient. I don't have to do this right now, but you know me and picking things. I like picking things. Don't be tempted to rub it in. If you do get 3-in-1 or Fabri-Tac on something, just leave it be. Don't push on it, because if you just let it dry like this, you can just take it right off. It'll just peel off. But if you push on it thinking, oh, I'm going to rub that off, you won't rub it off. What you'll do is rub it right in. There we go. So let's take a look and see. And I also want it to enjoy being folded, so I'm just going to do that. That's great. Okay. And then I'm going to do this side. This side's not quite so important to be, I'm not going to tape off on this side. I'm just waiting for the glue to come down. Let me see if I'm still in camera. Yeah, I'm not. I'm going to come back. There we go. I hope you were able to see what I was working on. Now I realize I can't tell whether I was in camera or not. And there's no going back. I'm not going to peel it off to do it again. So into all the little crevices. I can lift that. It's quite bendable. That little support system for under the binder rings. It's nice. Now I'm going to use this and just tuck that in and spread it and tuck it in there so it doesn't bulk up that hinge. Spread it out. There. Now I want some thick stuff. See how you can just sort of, when it starts drying, if you don't want it there, you can peel it right off. All right, let's do this end. Let me make sure I'm in camera. I am. I hope you're all doing well. Boy, it took all weekend for hubby and I just to recover from our second Moderna shot. Whoa-wee! We both had reactions to it. I've heard that that's a good sign. We both definitely aches, pains, severe headache. I felt like my skin was stinging. It felt like I had a sunburn all over. My skin was just stinging, which was strange. But you know what? I'll do it again if it means to be safe and get this virus under control. So that means 2 more weeks and we're protected. So that's good. There we go. We got our air conditioning fixed. That was nice. Alrighty. So I'm going to be working on putting in seam binding here. This is tea-dyed, so that way if it shows, it kind of looks, you know, what we like in a junk journal. We like tea-dyed things and grungy looking things. So let's take a look, see if I can lift that up and I can put that under there. I gotta get my plan of action in, because you know it's going to want to dry very quickly. So I'm wondering if this is too wide for what I want. I only want that hinge supported. So I'm thinking I don't need to put it all the way underneath. I'm thinking I can probably just put it right over the edge there. It can go on this side as much as it wants because I'm going to put new end papers in. Yeah, I think what I'll do is just I'll just go maybe about 1/4 of an inch towards this way, and the rest of it I'll glue down in this direction, and then I can just I'm going to do ledger paper end papers as well, similar to what I've got in my desk binder. So that's good. Let me see how I'm doing for time. Hold on. Oh, I'm at 29 minutes. All right. Well, you know what? This is a no-brainer. The outside was the hard part. And the outside looks really pretty. Look at that. Isn't that nice? And it's floppy. I don't want it to not be floppy, which is why I don't mind this. It's really thin. And because it's bias tape, quite strong. So that's going to look good. So the next time you see this, oh, there we go. Okay, hold on. The next time you see this, she'll have whole new hinges. Thanks for joining me today. I hope you have a great rest of your day, and take care and stay safe. We'll talk soon. Bye.